My other question is, why it's still the contractor on all these?
On this year's, right?
He got the bid the last time,
But
so.
that was completed?
No,
No,
Just a fraction.
just a fraction?
yeah, I think
We
we
only
only
gotta
got
get going again this year.
'Cause that
We only
business
spent
does change hand on April
right.
1st.
But they know that they're supposed to take it, they bought that contract with that work to be done yet.
And they
So that
bond, and it's
contract still-
bonded,
That contract
So,
still rolls over.
yeah, so it's gotta get done. But yeah, so anything that we would do past that would be rebid, you know, going forward or past that one contract.
Okay.
And on your little map that you have in front of you, I realized you don't have a couple things on the south side of the interstate, just relatively small. You can see it on the larger map there in front of Tony.
What are those locations that are on the interstate area?
Yeah, it's just a little, it's out there by the car wash or the truck wash, right on the south. And then I think this one is,
Isn't that a county road?
McDonald's is here. This would be the,
That frontage road?
yeah, little frontage road.
Okay. Most of the things that are on the yellow or the 6-year plan have been on there, I mean, for the past few years. And some of these that are red have been yellow and are moved to red for this next time, meaning we put them in the 1 year. So you have to have, if we approve this, then any work that we have to done has to be on these plans
Not necessarily, I mean, there, you can still make some additions to it.
to it.
Right. We have to show the state that we're reutilizing our money that we get back from them and is putting it back into the streets.
I think it would be I think we should, yeah, I know Benish helped put this together, but I think if we would ask them that we were considering, just as an alternative to look at a bigger scope of work, what would they consider that scope of work may look like, and then get some estimates of what that would be if we did look at a bigger scope of work, maybe in a couple of different pictures, you know, of this much or this much, and you know, give us some choices to make, and then we could look at some financing options if we decide to do that. If not, our option would be to continue to, in the next budget, to do what we've done, and that's to take what we can fund through the budget, and that's how much street improvement we can do, and that's the bid that we'll put out, whether that's 650 or 400 or 800, but you know, those are pretty small jobs for you to get many bids on. You know, or very competitive bids.
We have a lot more street work than we have money at this point, so.
Well, and in street work, when you get the equipment here and the manpower here from these companies, more is always discounted because the more they can do, it's always.
And that's I think that's what we have to look at, that take the advantages of the economies of scale of trying to do that, as opposed to just, you know, paying kind of a.
Because Benish would have an idea of what you could get for $2 million worth of work, what you could get for $4 million worth of work, right?
Right, and what would be included in this that we would fix, and then also have us be thinking about other places, but then have them look at it from an engineer view. You know, do you really need to rip all this concrete up, or does it need an overlay, or does this need that or that? Because sometimes there's other solutions other than a total demolition, you know, with what they've got. But I think we would need that expertise. But I would like to have a number of options for the council to have going into the budget to make this. If we're going to make those kind of choices, you know, we need to get quite a bit. We need our facts.
And the public works director.
And
That's the other thing.
And I can
That's some
start
input there.
gathering information with Benish on this, so we can have some budget numbers available.
we can at least get the ball rolling. So. This is a public hearing. if anybody else would like to come to the microphone and make any statements, you are sure welcome to do that. We're kind of just talking it over a little bit here, but it does open itself up to, what things we need to be thinking about. That it's hard to think that another budget's around the corner, but it is. And we need to be thinking ahead, on what kinds of things we want to see in there. Seeing no one else coming to the microphone, I'm going to close the public hearing. Part of the 1 and 6 year plan, and I guess the council, I guess I'd like a little clarification. If the council were to approve this 1 and 6 year plan, you said we can make additions to it and changes to it or amend this plan. We need to approve this much for what we've got, but we could make, if we decided to do a bigger scope, we can add to it. If we change the scope of it, we may have to revisit the document. Is that workable for everyone? Okay. That being the case, then we would need to pass this resolution and Resolution 2021-11 with what we've got in front of us, and then we'll consider this another work in progress.
I move for approval, resolution number 2021-11.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Jean?
North.
Yes.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Van Ash.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Wagner.
Yes.
Next is the sale of 37 feet of Lot 7, Block 10, Original Town to York Cold Storage. And we have an ordinance there, but is there a representative of the York Cold Storage? Please come to the microphone if you'd state your name and address for the record, and then let us know what you've got going. That'd be great.
Okay, I'm Colby Fry, plant manager over at York Cold Storage. I'll be representing them tonight. I'm 831 North 10th, Geneva, is my address.
Thank you.
Main thing is we're gonna try to buy the lot right to the south of us and just use it as a buffer zone or potential for the building in the foreseeable future. It's under my understanding that the city has actually bought the ground, 37 foot, from York Cold Storage in the past for the street widening, and we're just looking to get that back. And then also to vacate the alley to the south of us. If you have any other questions.
Any questions, council? I know they've talked about this, and I know Matt had brought it up before too.
Correct.
Just this little strip that's doing us not doing the city any good at this point.
And we've been maintaining it for many, many years now.
And we appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I've been, the staff has been dealing with Matt on this for probably the past year, trying to get this figured out as to what we can do and what they wanted to do with it. I know their long-term goal is to eventually put a building over there. It doesn't do any harm. We're not going to lose any property by making this sale and this trade. So it's advantageous to both the city and to cold storage. So I recommend the process proceed.
Matt told me that Joey was gonna be here to represent cold storage. He must have ducked out on you.
Oh, yeah. I saw him here tonight, so somehow I got stuck
He
in
said,
there.
take it easy on him.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Are there any further questions? We would need to suspend the rules on ordinance 2280.
I move to suspend the rules on the ordinance.
Second.
Motion and a second to suspend the rules. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
To suspend the rules on 2280, Jean?
North.
Yes.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Van Ash.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Wagner.
Yes.
And now the passage of ordinance 2280.
I move for the passage of ordinance 2280.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Jean?
North.
Yes.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Van Ash.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Wagner.
Yes.
The second item on this, with this agenda item is to vacate the alley between slots 8, 9, and 6 and block 10, Original Town. Joe, do you have any comments on that item?
This is an alley that's never been used. It's not really, you can't drive through it anyhow, so let's get rid of it. It's
Yeah.
on the books and again, benefits them and
We
doesn't
don't need
benefit
it.
us. We don't need it.
The alley to nowhere.
Yes.
Is there any questions of the council on that?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Thank you. Gene?
North.
Yes.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Van Ash.
Yes.
Hoffman. Wagner.
And now we have passage of ordinance 2281.
Move for passage of ordinance 2281. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comment? Gene?
North.
Yes.
Wilkinson.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Van Ash.
Yes.
Hoffman. Wagner.
Thank you. Motion passes.